Greetings from IAS. We want to welcome you to our new program where we discuss the taboos in education. Talking about taboos, as we heard, is a taboo. But today we're going to try to address taboos in education. To start, we want to give a clear disclaimer that views expressed on these programs do not reflect IAS. They are simply opinions of the participants. And so if you have questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. At the end of the program, I'll be sharing the email address with you. I have invited education experts who come from all different countries to share with us what kind of taboos they have seen in their countries or heard of. And we're going to try to discuss actually some of the common taboos that we find in education. But before we do that, I want them to introduce themselves to us. I'm going to start on that side. Please tell us who you are, which country you're from, and what you're doing here at IAS.
Thank you, Dr. Safari. My name is Edgar. I am from Argentina. I am studying PhD in education here at IAS.
Welcome, Edgar.
I'm Samuel Gaikwad from India, teaching in the education department.
Welcome, Dr. Sam.
Hello, my name is Mari Torres. I'm studying education, and also I'm working at English Center right now.
Wonderful. And you from?
Japan.
All right. I forgot because I know that you have lived in quite a number of countries. Let's go to the next one.
My name is Monda Gijimana. I am from Rwanda, and I am doing PhD in education administration.
Welcome, Amon.
My name is Janina. I'm from Romania. I'm taking a PhD in education.
Wonderful. As we can see, all of them are education experts, and I think all of you have worked in education. You have been teachers or educational administrators before you came here, so we're going to learn from you. The first question I have for you, what taboos are negatively affecting education in your country today? I'm going to start with Dr. Sam. In India, do we have some taboos that are affecting education?
Oh yes, there are quite a few taboos. You can enumerate them. One of the taboos is intercaste marriage. Intercaste marriage is a taboo. It could lead to honor killing, and that's why in education it becomes a problem that you are very careful with which boys or which girls talk to each other.
In the classroom?
Yes, and in education system, that's why you see them generally segregated. Now there is a progressive society, in the cities and all, but most of the people live in the villages, and therefore you can see the population in general. You cannot have commonly it is not advisable and acceptable to have intercaste marriage. Wow. That's one thing. Wow. Secondly, you do not, the transgenders are unacceptable in the society. They are not accepted in the family. If they are in the family, it is a big embarrassment to the family, and they are generally, cast out from the family. And because if the transgender is in the family, it is very difficult for the girls in the family to get married. There you will not find a suitable match for the girls, and there is a problem. Another thing I can tell you, just for my time, I would say there is a feticide. The problem is you cannot have you do not try to find out what is the sex of your child before the child is born. It is a crime. You will be in a jail.
Oh.
No, yes.
Jail.
That's right, and big fine also.
So, wow. Ultrasounds don't.
No, the doctor
have
is
market
not,
there.
Doctor is not allowed to tell. Neither are you expected to ask. You ask, you are in a problem. The doctor will immediately report it to the police. You are trying to find the sex of a child. And if the doctor tries to tell, then again the doctor will be in problem. So every hospital has a big board there. This hospital will not tell you the sex of the child, so please don't try asking.
That's interesting. Since we're next to Edgar, tell us a couple taboos that you find in Argentina. Certainly there's no taboo in Argentina, right?
Absolutely, yes. As in everywhere. Taboo is something that you cannot even talk about it. A teacher in my country cannot define a family as something composed by or for a man, a woman, and their children. No. Actually, this is a big act of discrimination. You can go to the jail, as in India, if you define family in that way.
What is the definition of family in Argentina?
The definition of family comes clearly from the books that the government is giving for free to the children from kindergarten. And on the cover of these books, you will find a couple of two boys, a gay couple, and inside a wonderful story of love between them, and that is family. Family is whatever a group of people that they love each other and they care for each other, that is family. Doesn't care if we are talking about two men, women, whatever, or just friends living together for some time, adopting children, that is family. So if you define family as we usually do that, a teacher does that, is actually an explicit act of discrimination and can be really facing legal problems.
Wow. Let's try in Rwanda. Any taboo in Rwanda as far as education is concerned?
Yeah, we have a taboos in Rwanda. Many taboos in education are related also to our culture. But I don't want to tell you about that because recently we have had another taboo, which means that as maybe if you go to Rwanda to teach there, you have to be careful. It is a taboo related to our ethnicity in Rwanda. Because of what happened in 1994, it was related to ethnicity, say this is one, this I belong to this ethnicity, and so on. And one group killed another group. And from that time, no one is allowed to talk about ethnicity, even in the school. If you want to give some examples related to ethnicity in Rwanda, you can be in trouble because you are accused of ideology of genocide. And you can be in jail 15, 25 years. I see that as something that's affecting our education because even our children sometimes will not know the history of our country. Yeah, that is what I see recently as a taboo in Rwanda.
Wow. That's deep. And for those of us who have been to Rwanda or you have read about Rwanda, you can understand what he's talking about. It has become really a taboo, and this is just in the past few years. Let's go to Japan. Taboo in education.
Yes, first of all, in Japan, the society expects the nation to be not too different. So you can find this idea in the education field as well. That means that teachers expect students to have a similar opinions. And when the students are little, it's okay, they say their opinions. But when they start to get to the age of like teenagers, and because the society is that way, first of all, they think about what other students, their classmates, think. Instead of they just say their opinions clearly. And that really affects, I think.
I think I can see this, the fact that you have lived in so many countries, you have seen another perspective of that. And you understand that this is actually prohibiting the educational progress of the students, because it's like you are right there in the cocoon and you cannot move. If you try to move, hey, what's wrong with you? You need to stay within.
They believe that's the beauty of harmony.
Oh, okay, harmony. All right, we have talked about this concept of harmony in the past, and we found that actually this type of harmony doesn't really have a true harmony in it. It is just a surface thing, you know. You cannot challenge me in public, but deep inside, maybe it's different. Let's go to Romania. All right.
Romania is an Orthodox country, so one of the subjects that we don't discuss in schools, it's about sexuality. So in the last years, it's true that we started to make some small steps to discuss in the classrooms with the students about this, trying an education in this subject, but is not yet so much discussed. Speaking about Adventist education now, we don't discuss about having pastors in high positions without being prepared for that position. They are in educational department, for example, for union or for conferences, only because they are pastors, but they are not prepared to conduct such a department. So this is the situation, but we don't speak about this because it's taboo.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, another subject we don't discuss about is teachers, Adventist teachers. Actually, the business department touch a little bit this subject, are not so much paid like in another outside of the church, you know. We have also this situation, and more than that, if you are teaching in higher education, for example, me, I will teach in higher education, and in the same school, in the same university, is a pastor who is teaching. He will have a higher salary than me, even if I'm finished a PhD and he didn't. See, only because it's pastor. But we are not discussing about these topics in our country in an open way, of course. We are discussing in different environments. But still, I think it's necessary to discuss about this and to fix the problems.
It is necessary. Some of these things that we have kept as taboos for too long, actually they are having a negative impact on church organization institutions. It's time we start addressing them. And the next one, I'm going to ask Edgar to be the first one to answer this one. If Adventist education is the best, and we believe it is the best, why are we losing so many young people to public universities or even other private universities and colleges?
Yes, it's true. We are losing a lot of young people in our schools, but statistics are clear. If a child or a teenager is going to study in our Adventist institutions, they have 2 times more probability to remain in the church when they're adults. So not everything is going wrong. Yes, Adventist education is delivering better results than outside of the Adventist education, but we need to understand also that, especially thinking on teenagers, they are spiritual beings, not religious beings. So we don't need to push them toward religion, because religion is actually a structure, and they are in a specific stage in their life in order to get independence, mental independence, emotional independence. And if we try to push them inside of a structure, we are actually doing something that they are really trying to avoid. But they are really inclined to spiritual things. They love Jesus and they really prefer connection and relationships. So if we connect them among them and with Jesus, they will really love this spirituality. But yes, they are not in a best time to talk about religion specifically.
That's good. You have addressed the question and actually given even the solution. I'm going to go to Aman, who has also been in the Adventist education system for some time. What do you think?
I think that we lose.
Or do you have this problem in Rwanda?
Yes, we
Okay,
have.
good. So then we can talk.
We have because in my institution now, according to what I know, 90% of our students are not Adventists, which means that we have only 10% Adventists. Why? I try to think about it, but for me, what I see, sometimes our education is very expensive. And the parents are not able to afford the school fees of our education.
Hold on. There was a study that Dr. Arceli did here with a group of other scholars, and they found that actually, I don't remember if it was Dr. Arceli or somebody. This is a study that was just done and recently was presented at a conference this year. I think it was in the Accra conference. And it was found that actually poor parents, were willing to sacrifice anything and everything to make sure that their children went to Adventist schools. So that actually killed our assumption that we always thought it was because it was expensive. I'm not saying that it's not expensive. I think financially, it's always a little higher than the rest of the people in the neighborhood. But in this study, they found that it was not necessarily the richest kids who were staying in the Adventist schools. It was actually just a commitment of certain parents who would do everything it took for their children to go to Adventist schools.
Maybe yes.
Yeah.
But for some parents, they see that it is very expensive when you compare Adventist schools with other schools. That is one of the reasons. But another one, maybe, I have to tell you, is about what our students want to study, our children want to study in our schools. Do we have all options or sections they want to study? If we don't have them, it means that they have to go to other institutions where they can find them.
Correct.
Yeah, I am thinking about maybe those course related. For example, in my country, we don't have a mathematics, we don't have physics, and other courses. Our students have, or our children have to go to other institutions where they can find or those things they want to study. Those are some reasons I can give that push some of our young people to go to other institutions.
I want to come back to the last point you've just made. This is very important, and this goes to our church leaders and even the education majors that we have here. Let's diversify our programs that we're offering. A number of the colleges that we have in the Adventist Church are offering the same programs that we started with 100 years ago. Education, business, and theology. You find this in everywhere where we have an Adventist college. I'm not saying that it's wrong to have those programs, but maybe it is time to diversify more than just those three, because the world today has more needs than just those three. Dr. Sam, why are our young people leaving our church schools?
As far as the schools are concerned, parents send their children to Adventist schools if they are nearby. If they are far away, because the country is so vast, it's far away, they smaller children, they don't send them far away. But however, if they grow up and if they are in boarding age schools, many of the parents send them to the Adventist boarding schools, because the education is kind of subsidized, though it is a little expensive. The church does pay quite a bit. However, we must understand that as the culture goes, when it comes to college, as you mentioned, the diversification is very important. What has happened is our church has so much concentrated on preparing teachers, preparing pastors, that we are not thinking beyond that. And the young generation now, they want to fly. They want to move ahead. They want to go engineering, medicine, they want to do architecture, they want to do all sorts of things, aviation and so on. So they go to other institutions. Plus, as you may know, in India, the software engineering is very, very widespread. People get into IT things in India in a large way. And India is a leading country in the world now to prepare IT things, information technology. But our schools don't offer that. They offer only the basic courses in that area. And so students, they want to move ahead in that area so that they can earn more, so that their families will be better off, they can support the church and so on. So that is one of the reasons. And as I mentioned earlier, when I was president of Spicer College, they would sometimes parents would come bringing their daughters and sons to the college to leave them in the hostel, and they would want an appointment with the president, not necessarily the others. And they would come to me, and the first thing they will tell me, Dr. Gaikwad, my daughter, I'm leaving here. Make sure she does not talk to any boys here. I am the one going to find a partner for her marriage partner. And so these things should not happen, that they mix and talk and this and that, and we are very careful about who they marry. As I mentioned, intercaste and intercultural marriages are difficult. So they say we have specific criteria for marriage, and therefore we do not want them to get involved here. So those are some of the issues that happen. And then there is how parents look at it as Adventist parents. They have come out of this system of caste and all that, but still when it comes to marriage, that is still in the mind, where their daughter or where their son should marry.
Wow.
So that comes into.
Wow. That's quite interesting, so quite complex to be an educator in India, I guess. The next question I'm going to ask our two sisters here first, and then we can see if we still have some time for somebody else to jump in. The Adventist Church has been around for more than 150 years. One of our students here, now Dr. Joseph Nadine Collins, conducted a study worldwide, and she found that in the whole history of the Adventist Church, there has been only 13 female college and university presidents. That's in 150 years. We didn't expect this when she was interested in the study, but when she started counting, it was really 13. Why do you think this is happening?
Me first?
Yes.
Doctor, this is the most difficult question. And I was expecting, maybe he will skip this. First of all, honestly, I was like, I don't know, and then I started to think, well, probably, this is just my opinion, probably the tradition, and also this is not only inside of the institution or a college or universities. You can see these things anywhere, in the office and anywhere. So still we have the society that men rule, and then woman is just still following the system. That's all I can say.
So are you telling me that the Adventist Church is male dominant?
Still, probably.
Okay. Let's go to Janina.
Fortunately, in Romania, we have some women in high positions. Our we have only one university, Adventist University in Romania, Adventist University, this is the name, and the president is a woman. So, and in many other schools, Adventist schools, some high schools, we have female, yes, women. I think it's still a mentality that men are best or better prepared for these positions, but in our country this mentality comes to the end, I think, in small steps, but we started to have women in high position in institutions, not only in schools or in education, but also in other. It's still work in progress, but I think we can do more than that. It's true that it's obviously that in many, many countries, we don't have women in these high positions. And this is a disadvantage, in my opinion. And we can see when we have only professors as men professors, something is missing from that group, you know, organizing, having different opinion, different perspectives. And I think because God created men and women, we need to balance this situation. Not only men, not only women, but together to have a balanced situation in order to give the best for our society and for our students. So Romania, we are making steps, and we have women in high positions, and hopefully we will have more.
Okay, all right, all right. Looks like Amon wanted to just jump in before I go to Edgar on this one.
Okay, my opinion is different maybe from your question. Why is it that Adventist or college universities don't have too many female presidents? My question is that, do we have many female with PhD, for example, degree? For example, in Africa, if we don't have a female with PhD, how they can be president of colleges and universities?
I want to answer by asking you another question. Why is it that only men have PhDs in Africa?
That is what I want to mention now. I see this as the causes from those who send students to do their PhD, the sponsors. For example, if we can check here in IAS, how many women are sent by Adventist institutions for studies. They study here, the women we have, because they have the husband sent by those Adventist institutions. And sometimes when those women finish their studies, they don't want to work in the church. Because outside of the church, they will get a lot of money. When you are outside of the church, to become president of college or university is not also easy. And also the salary you get when you work with your husband in Adventist institutions, it is very small. I have a case in my institution. The couple was sent to do PhD in Europe. When they finished, the salary of the wife was very, very low. And the wife said, no, I suffered for my PhD, like my husband. How can I continue to get this salary? She preferred to quit and go outside of the church to work in another institution. I think those are some reasons that we don't have many women as the president of our colleges and universities.
You have brought something that I didn't think about. That's very, very important. Husband and wife get the same degree, PhD in education. Both may even get PhD in education. They go home, work in our institutions, and then the man has better salary than the wife. Something is wrong with that picture, and I'm glad we had a session on business, taboos in business. I hope you get to watch that and see how you can address that. That is simply wrong business practice, and it should be actually abolished. In the interest of time, we're going to move to the next question. How should Adventist educational institutions deal with homosexual students? Dr. Sam, we'll start with you. And then we'll go to Marie, because she's writing a paper on that right now.
Well, you know, I am not very experienced in this area, how they should be included in Adventist education, because
Dr. Sam, with all your experience, you haven't had a homosexual student in your class?
No, they are not encouraged, as I mentioned earlier, you know, in educational system. The transgender people with such deviant behaviors are not accepted in the community. And therefore, I had no such experience as to homosexual students in school.
What if one showed up at in your class here at IS? And I'm sure you have had one you just didn't know.
I did not know. I do not know if anybody is there of this kind.
What would you do, Dr. San?
Well, according to my understanding, every child is a child of God.
Amen.
And each one is to be treated humanely with respect. And therefore, it's our duty to, accept them and treat them as students who are capable of achieving goals, yet bringing to their attention their behavior may not be the right one, right behavior. That's what I was.
All right. I'm going to go to Edgar first before I go to you because you have read about this more than all of us. All right, Edgar.
Let me picture something that is common in our schools in Argentina, Adventist schools. The family, parents come with the lawyer to the school and they say, okay, principal, from tomorrow, our daughter, Maria, will change her name and she will be Carlos, okay? From tomorrow, you're going to change her name and everybody's going to call her Carlos because she now is a man. And the girl is there saying, yes, I am Carlos now. So this is quite common there.
It's common.
Absolutely, because the law is absolutely supporting these behaviors.
Because obviously, you don't say family is a father and mother, husband and a wife, and then a child. It's a ramification of what you said earlier.
Exactly. It's the result of the previous
What
idea.
do you do as an Adventist principal or president of VP Academics with that?
Well, we don't teach homosexuality. It's not part of our values. It's not part of our principles. But, yes, there is no barrier to stop the enrollment of people who has gender identification that is different from their sex, original sex. So we cannot stop the enrollment of people that have gender issues. Never. Actually, I don't think that behavior, stop their enrollment, is something that goes along with the Bible. It's not Christian. And unfortunately, the law is not supporting that in my country also. So we are going to welcome them in our institutions. But the big topic here is, why are they choosing my school? Adventist school is quite expensive. They can choose different education. Actually, public education is free. Because when they come to our school, they are going to sign a contract. And in that contract says clearly, our values are this. And you are choosing our school because your idea, your plan is to grow in these values. I don't care who you are now, what is your situation today, what is your idea about your gender, but because you are choosing this institution, read carefully this contract, because these are the values that you are adopting from now on.
Wow, that's a lot to chew on. Thank you. Marie, share with us, please, what
Really?
you have found so far in your paper.
Okay. First of all, because we are Adventists and we all know our belief based on the Bible, and then we don't practice homosexuality. However, we Adventists sometimes focus on what we believe too much when we talk about homosexuality and LGBTQ people. First of all, we should know what's going on with them. I mean, what they face at institutions. A lot of these people are bullied and discriminated because of their sexual orientation and also their belief. And I'm not saying that it's okay what they're doing. No, that doesn't mean we shouldn't allow that they are hurt by classmates, even teachers. So that's no matter what happened, we should accept it's okay. No, it's not okay. they are struggling. And because of that, their decision, they tend to, how can I say it? Then they tend to get very emotional. And also that they, because of that discrimination and peer pressure, and they always struggle with their identity. Even they act in front of people, oh, I'm woman now, I'm man now, but inside deep they are struggling. That's why the research shows that there are a lot of LGBTQ people commit suicide. They need help. My opinion is we need some kind of practical ways. Yes, we can say, oh, we should accept them, but how? Because we have our belief. So for that, I'm still searching, but there are some ways I believe it's each school has a counselor. They should be trained very well for this topic. And also that we have a chaplain, and they can give a Bible studies. And like Edgar said, those people who come to our church, they chose to come to our school. That means they are ready to accept what we believe too. So maybe they can open their heart, and they will have the ears to listen to us. But first we should love them, and we should give them the hope, exactly the same hope we have.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. The research that's been done on homosexuality, it is controversial. And we need to really be informed about what is happening. There's just too much out there. You hear this version and that version, there's just too much. Anyways, it is, let it be known that in Adventist schools, we do not promote homosexuality. We're going to the last question, and I'm going to give you 30 seconds each, just quickly. Should non-Adventist students be required to attend religious activities in our schools? Just 30 seconds each, because we've just run out of time. Should we require them? And as you think about that, I want you, and I'm going to start with Janina, I want you to think about your Adventist children studying in a non-Adventist school where they have to maybe bow down to Buddha, for example, or to a statue, because that is the religious beliefs of that school. Because it's easy for us to look at it from one side, but as we address this, I want you to look at that side as well. Janina, 30 seconds each.
Yes, in Romania, we have, as I said, Orthodox background. So our children in public schools are not forced to take Orthodox class. They can choose between going to the Orthodox or to the Catholic or to the Adventist. It's their choice together with the parents. In the same way, I think that in our Adventist schools, we don't have, one of my favorite teachers said, you have to convince the student, not to force the student to do something. So showing the non-Adventist to the non-Adventist students that our religion, it's pure, it's nice, we have values, it's something that we should have in our lives, but showing, not forcing to participate. This is my because of my background, I think we don't have to force them to participate. We have to conquer their hearts, their minds, to show them the beauty of the Bible, of Jesus, and so on. So, not forcing.
All right, thank you. Aman?
Okay, my answer is yes. We need to require them to participate in school religious activities because they have accepted to come to our institutions. If they come there, it is because there is something they need to get. And our objective as Adventists and Christians is to equip them with three things, if I remember well. There is physical, mental, and spiritual. If you allow them to participate in mental and physical activities, why not spiritual activities? You said that we have to think maybe about this according to our children. Yeah. I had my daughter who was in a Catholic school. She was very small, but after 1 week, she was able to play like a Catholic people. I started to teach her how she has to pray and so on. But after I say no, I have to change the school. Even if the school she was studying is very has a high quality, I have to change because they will take my daughter to another category of worship. I think we have to require them to participate in our school religious activities because I have accepted, and also for us we have the objective of why we have that school.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm glad that we got both the perspectives here. Let me go to Dr. Gaikwad since our time is out. We'll just get his perspective and then we close this one.
Well, you know, I as I mentioned, in Indian setting, we have, you will find that it is a birthplace of many religions. And all of the religions have very high values. And so any school you go, they teach these values there. And so we have our Adventist values. So when any non-Adventist comes to our school, we should not actually force them to follow our prayer patterns and all that. But we should help them understand the values that we hold very dear. And those values will help them to come to the church, attend worship services, and learn the values that they themselves appreciate very much. And then we have our own values that we can bring it to them.
Thank you so much. I thank all of you for your participation today. We have learned so much about the different taboos actually in education. And I hope that this discussion has generated some deep thoughts in each one of us, and we can continue to reflect on these ideas from different countries, from Argentina, India, Japan, Rwanda, and even Romania. The whole world is represented here from this platform. We want to thank you again for watching, for those of you who are watching online and those who are watching on videos. We really appreciate the time that you have taken to be with us. If you have questions and suggestions or opinions that you want to share with us, please email us at united@ias.edu. And until we meet again in the next program, we want to encourage you to remain united in diversity.